It was a game between the two innings, but in the end, the bowlers from Kolkata Knight Riders outfoxed the batsmen from Chennai Super Kings to clinch the game for their team. This is Uninvited Opinions, and you're watching another episode of End of Days Play.
It was an interesting game, and it just adds to the drama. It goes to prove that you don't necessarily need a high scoring match to make it entertaining. So it was every bit as entertaining. And over the past few days, we've been talking about high scores of 80s and 90s being achieved in just last 5 overs. We had two teams who got 74 and 67 runs respectively in the last 10 overs. Okay, we are not talking about the last 5 overs. So in every bit, it was a very symmetrically, closely fought affair. So it made for very interesting viewing. But obviously, at the end of the day, you may have some harsh questions for the Chennai batsmen for the way they approached the chase.
Yeah, I'll probably keep the rant for a little later in the episode. But I think let's start off with the team compositions. I thought it was, a couple of interesting choices which were made. Chennai Super Kings brought in Karan Sharma instead of Piyush Chawla, probably because of the fact that Piyush Chawla was part of the KKR camp until last year. And Karan Sharma actually had a very good game. And on the other end, for the second game running, they've kept Kuldeep Yadav out of the side, which kind of emphasizes the point we made last time around, saying that Varun Chakravarti has leapfrogged as the lead spinner for the team. And I think this game just goes on to prove it. I think Kuldeep Yadav needs to, really make a fight back to get himself back into the team. That said, I think when you look at both the innings, I think there was a symmetry to both innings. There's something that we were discussing just before the show. Both teams got off to a great start. At the end of the 10-over mark, both teams look set for big totals. But then the bowlers came back into the game. They pulled it back wonderfully. Bowlers from both teams, actually. It is just in the end, the bowlers from KKR did a little better than the Chennai batsmen. The Chennai batsmen let down their team, which I think throws the spotlight really well onto the innings played by Rahul Tripathi at the end, at the top of the innings for KKR. I think he justified the decision by the KKR team to promote him to the top. He stuck it out. He stuck out when the going got tough in the middle overs. But he was very aggressive at the top. He took the initiative. He didn't get bogged down. Kept the run rate ticking. And even when wickets were falling down at the other side, he still kept the run rate going. Which probably in the end, if you look at it, he's the only batsman who made a substantial score in either innings. It gave KKR with a defendable total in the end. And we've seen that in Abu Dhabi, 160 odd is always a competitive total.
Promotion of Rahul Tripathi to the top was, I would say, long overdue. If people remember from the 2017 edition, he opened the batting with Rahane for Rising Pune Super Giants. And in that edition, he scored 391 runs. 391 runs is something around the tally that premier batsmen aim to score over a season. So he has actually had success in the top. And then just that ever since he's moved out to different franchises, they haven't necessarily looked back at that facet and tried to extract the best out of him. So this was a perfect opportunity, perfect platform. He was coming on the back of a good innings that he played coming down the order against Delhi Capitals, which nearly won the game for KKR. So he had the confidence, and he showed that he can actually take on the bowlers up front in the power play. After Morgan got out, it was actually onus back on Rahul Tripathi to bat right through. Even he would not have thought that he would have to play the anchor role while starting the innings at the beginning. So it was very, very good to see that he played that to the best of his ability. But I think the rest of the KKR batsmen found it very difficult. We don't know whether it was necessarily the pitch conditions or the very good bowling or probably some silly errors that they made. But I think they got away with this in this game. They may want to look at it going forward.
Yeah, and what do you make of the decision to demote Sunil Narayan, but keep him at number 4? If I'm the coach of the team, I would have thought that you need to give your best batsman more deliveries to play. So I don't quite agree with the rationale, keeping him at number 4 today. It didn't hurt them today, but if KKR had another chance, I hope they send in Morgan ahead of Narayan.
The KKR batting lineup has always been the talking point, and it's anybody's guess who the next batsman in is going to be at the fall of a wicket. And even the left-right hand combination theory doesn't work because Morgan and Narayan are both left-handed. So he could always have come ahead of Narayan. Probably now in hindsight, you can say was the right decision is that Narayan actually ended up scoring more fluently than Morgan. I thought CSK had pulled back the things remarkably well, conceding only 74 in their last 10, with all the big guns actually still there available for KKR. And not only that, they ended up actually getting all out, which is quite a matter of shame. Going into the mid innings break, CSK would have been pumped, and KKR's shoulders would have drooped. But maybe there is something in the pitch, in the conditions that we could not see, but the teams there saw, and that's what probably kept KKR in the fight and kept them interested all the way along.
Yeah, and when the Chennai innings started, they followed a similar template. I think at the end of the 10th over, they had 94 for the loss of Faf du Plessis. Shane Watson has rediscovered his batting mojo after the innings last game against Punjab, and he had a very good partnership with Ambati Rayudu. But then Watson and Rayudu fell, in quick succession, and then KKR bowlers really put on the brakes between the 11th and the 15th overs. So they only conceded 20 runs and took 2 wickets between the 11th and the 15th overs of the Chennai chase. That despite that, I don't think Chennai were out of the game at that point in time. They had sent in Sam Curran, and in a small partnership with MS Dhoni, it felt like they were getting going. Then Dhoni got out, and then that's where I think the chase really derailed. In comes Kedar Jadhav, and what does he do? He plays a front-footed, defense when the asking rate is, in excess of 10 runs an over, and that's what actually you're an experienced international batsman. You know the asking rate, and you don't show the intent or the urgency to come in and rotate the strike. He plays out 3 dot balls at over, and then the first over of the first ball of the next over, Sam Curran has to try going for a big hit, and he gets out, which I thought was really unfair because he's a genuine hitter, has been in good hitting form. If someone had to see Chennai through to the win today, he had to be there at the end. So it was really baffling to see Kedar Jadhav's approach.
It's not the first time we have questioned Chennai batting approach for its intent remaining the key word. And today I felt Kedar Jadhav could at least have tried to rotate the strike and bring Karan back on strike, or else at least go for attempt a big hit himself. Maybe if he wanted a sighter for the first ball, that's fine. But 3 dot balls on the trot at that stage was putting too much pressure. Sam Curran is turning out to be the MVP for Chennai Super Kings. He is being asked to bowl at the death. He's been asked to bowl at the top. He's come in late order to hit a few boundaries, few sixes. Middle team management is probably asking him to do anything and everything. And probably it's going to do his own confidence a world of good going forward as an international for England. But I think looking at the attitude that Sam Curran shows, is not very dissimilar from Ravindra Jadeja. So it probably makes for a strong argument that if you could actually promote Karan up the order, why not Jadeja ahead of Jadhav? Not just the first few balls that Jadhav played out, it was also baffling to see how Jadhav played out Narayan in the 19th over of the innings. That was like 36 runs needed of the last 2 overs. And then again, Narayan gets away with a 9 or 10 run over. That's completely unexplainable. So yes, KKR had a plan which was actually coming together, but I think Chennai also contributed to their own downfall.
Yeah, it was Chennai's game to lose, and they duly lost it. But kudos to the KKR bowlers to have the confidence, at the end of the 10th over to look at the scoreboard and think we can still do it. I think they did a tremendous job. Dinesh Karthik actually rotated his bowlers very well. The pitch got probably a little difficult to bat on as the game went. So taking pace off the ball, having 2 mystery spinners in your armory proved to be, an excellent move from Dinesh Karthik. So all in all, it was a very interesting game. As a Chennai fan, I'm frustrated, but as a cricket fan, I absolutely enjoyed the game today. Which leads us to, our nominee for the player of the match. Who do you want to pick today?
I think Rahul Tripathi, as you already alluded, across both the innings, across both the batting sides, he's the one who found some form of fluency and also had the challenging task of actually having to bat through. And he did that to the best of his ability. I think he probably outperformed his own expectations. So without doubt, it should be Rahul Tripathi.
Looking at the fun events of today. So the first one was, the fact that KKR, since winning the toss, this is the first time since May 2015 they've actually chosen to bat first, which was which was a shocking statistic.
Okay.
The second one was, right at the beginning of the game when Harsha Bhogle was introducing the match umpires. He saw KN Ananthapadmanabhan and then went into sharing a piece of interesting history, which I'll let you explain in a couple of minutes. It was also interesting to watch, Dinesh Karthik's chatter with Varun Chakravarti in Tamil, which was again, for those of us who understand Tamil, it was fascinating to watch. So, what's your pick going to be?
Okay, just a little bit more on the last point. You're talking about two people chatting in Tamil, playing for KKR in front of Chennai batsmen who don't understand Tamil. Okay, so we've had this instance of Bangalore boys playing well for Punjab in the past. So this was like a small event of that kind here.
As a Chennai boy myself, the irony wasn't lost on me. So
yes. And the other thing, Harsha Bhogle was introducing the umpire KN Ananthapadmanabhan. He came up with an interesting piece of history that as a successful leg spinner in the domestic circuit himself, playing for Kerala, he is into the record books for having the longest recorded surname in the scorecard for a dismissal. So it comes from a game in 1990 where Andhra was playing Kerala. So you have Chamundeshwaranath, Cots Subramaniam, bowled Ananthapadmanabhan. So this takes the cake in terms of the longest recorded name, only with considering the surnames in the history of first-class cricket in any scorecard. Don't ask me if I actually include the first names; it gets insanely long. So I'll leave that out.
Looking at tomorrow's game, it's between the Sunrisers Hyderabad and the Kings 11 Punjab to be played at Dubai. Your predictions?
Kings 11 are probably really down on confidence, but the only thing that will help them is that the game is in Dubai and it's a true pitch, and probably it helps their batting prowess. And Sunrisers with Bhuvaneshwar Kumar ruled out is certainly looking weaker in the bowling department. So I'll still kind of lean towards Kings 11 a little bit.
Well, I'm going for the Hyderabad team to pull it off tomorrow. So that's a wrap on today's episode. Thank you for watching. If you like this episode, like and share this video with your friends. Subscribe to our channel to keep more videos coming your way, and stay tuned for another episode tomorrow. Until then, good night and see you again.